Okay, today's lesson is going to be on how to create your own event file. If you know everything that has been edited on your file and all the details, uh, if you understand those things, it will be easier for you to fix them if on race day you find that something is not set the way it needs to be set. So first I'm going to tell you we're working online up here. We are on raceresults.com. We log in. Every one of your main timing computers should have that user ID and password in there. That blue button that I pressed was Start Race Result 11. So this is all the events that we have done. So let's say you are doing an event that has been done in the past. I'm going to copy an event called the Great Race, I believe. Great. Type that in and it shows you all the races. I'm going for that one right there. So now while it's still sitting there, create a new race. I can see the title, so I know just how I should type it in again. The Great Race, October 26, 2019, 2019-10-26, and it is a copy of, go back to last year, there. And then it's like a glitch in the program, but you need to click off the screen, and it got rid of that line, and then click on Create. Now, if you're creating a race that we've done past years, then a lot of these details should all stay the same. You just want to verify them again. You just want to double check that the scoring has remained the same and whatnot. If it's a new race, then you have to do a lot of changing. And from here, I'm going to tell you to check every one of these. So under main window, well, just about every one. This one, if you're changing the race, you want to change some of this setup. I always tell you to put it in test mode so that we do not get charged for these athletes, because these are not the correct athletes. Just always leave it in test mode until race morning or until you have checked it out. Once you've checked it out onto your own computer, then put it into real. Check that the correct number of contests are here. If this event was done, it was not. So you need to change this number here to 11. Oh, and no, this is a short race. So let's change this number to 5. This is like a mile race. 1,000 meters. I'm even going to make it smaller. 3. So anything for the first 3 minutes will be starts. Anything after 3 minutes will be finishes. This is where that is saved here under these contests. And if you're copying from something last year, we weren't using raw timing mode, so these things are not updated. If you're copying your race that you just did a week ago, then most of these things should all be correct. And this is the 5K, this is the one where I leave 11. So when you're changing an event, when you're adding this raw timing mode element to an event, you have to change it in contests, you have to change it in timing points, and you have to change it in results. And in order to change it, one of these, I believe the timing points, in order to change it from how we timed last year to how we timed this year, you need to erase the athletes, or at least the times. So I'm going to delete the times. Then it will let me change my timing points to start and finish. So the old way we timed, the start had to be separate from the finish, and it made the whole process a lot more complicated. Now you can set up the start and finish as one single point. They go across it for the first 3 minutes, it starts. They finish across it, anything after 3 minutes, it finishes. So it's a simpler way, but you have to change these files over. This chip start and this finish, you need to select a timing point for both of those. And over here, it needs to say start. And over here, it needs to say finish. All of these other things, if you see a file that has dummy finish, that is also a remnant of the way we used to time. We used to time, and all of those additional reads were dropped into additional timing points called dummy finishes. Now, if somebody hits the finish line 20 times, I'm sure you've seen this, all 20 of their times, if somebody hits the finish time 20 times, all 20 of their times would be recorded. Come on now, over here in raw timing. All of those finish times will get dropped into the actual person. But before, only one finish time would drop into a person. Now the system will record them all. So you do want to look and see if it needs to be set up just like this. The timing point means that's what you're connecting to with transponder. You're connecting, and the timing point is called start and finish, and that's where we're collecting the chip start from. Same timing point called start and finish is where we're collecting the finish from, and they need to be pulled up there correctly. If you are changing a file that was not in raw timing mode to raw timing mode, you have to make sure that this screen at the end of your little process looks correct. You have to make sure that this screen now says it's in raw timing mode, and we don't want either of these things checked. And you have to be sure that in contest, you've selected a minimum lap time, and this number here should be 1 for every contest that we're doing. So those are 3 critical steps to change an event file into raw timing mode. Now, the other things you need to look at and check are the age groups. Make sure that they are correct for your event, and something is not right here. Something is not right. It should all be one color. So I can see we have some duplicates here. Let's erase this one and this one and save. Everything's duplicated, huh? This is a mess. Every one of these is duplicated, and I don't know why. All right, I will fix that later. So you want to make sure your age groups are correct. Chip file, make sure nothing's in here unless you are using a chip file. And a chip file is used if you're using those ankle bracelets or if you are using chips that do not match the bib number. If your chips, for some reason, run 200 to 300, but your bibs ran 1046 to 1146, that would be detailed in here. And if you find an event that has something detailed in here from last year, you need to get rid of it because you're probably not doing the same thing this year. Results, we went over results. Ranking. I will tell you that under age group place, put your cursor there and scroll all the way over to the back. If you are copying, or if your race director says, oh, right here, and rank 2, you will only get put in your age group place if your rank 2, that is your sex place, is greater than 1. That means this race is pulling out the first place male and female, pulling them out, and we will only give an age group place if you are greater than 1. If you were pulling out overall male and female 1, 2, 3, you would want this to be 3. But this race is pulling out overall male and female number 1 only. Okay. I have skipped over team score. You don't need to know about that so much. Entry fees, voucher, none of these. It is really basic settings, contest, participant. This section, don't get confused with this participant up here. This puts you to the actual athletes in the file. This one talks about other things that you might be bringing in. Like additional text fields. It is not a standard question to bring in emergency contact, but in this event file it is. So you can bring in the words emergency contact as a header on an Excel sheet. Also, I often bring in the word t-shirt. So here it's listed that we will bring in the word t-shirt. And you could change that to anything else. You could add other columns here. So that is everything under main window. Everything under participant, you would want to check this again once you've brought in your participants, your athletes. Everything under output, once you have done a simulated race, you'd want to check every one of your reports. MyRaceResults.com. This is something you need to update every time you create an event file. You want to click this button here, which publishes your results when you have results to publish. And you want to come down here to page results. And you want to change the date of your race to the correct date. '25 and 26 of 2019. Seventh. So that's just some text you need to change. If the picture needs to change, that's a little bit more complicated. You have to select it. You have to go into this little picture icon. And this right here is a URL link to where that picture is on the internet. So let's say I want to use this picture here. I right click on it, copy image address, then I go in and paste it, hit OK, and then that will point to there. Some things that might not be set up and you might want to use is the announcer. And the on-site registration. Two things here that need to be set up. Basic settings. If this was never used before, and at this race it wasn't, it says it will not be available until 2015. Make that a date in the future, and then this is now allowed to be active. And under the questions that we want to ask, do you want date of birth, or do you want this to be age? Gender, we're going to select contests, and I do not want to ask their email or their comment. So long as both of these things look good, then all you have to do is hit start, and this is what it looks like. It's a quick way to type in people's event. And this is a little quicker, and you can put a volunteer on this. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions on how to create an event file and how to turn last year's event file, change it over to a raw timing mode event file. And I'm going to have another video for you in a minute.